Blessings to all of you. Welcome to another discussion of Aloka Dhamma sessions in Jaya TV. As always, today, with greatest gratitude, I welcome Venerable Sri Lanka Kalana Dasanatero to the studio. We discuss about the importance and how to abstain from false speech, lies last week. So with that discussion, now it's very clear to all of us the meaning of the right speech and the way to ensure how do we not do false speech or lies. Venerable Sir got into Buddhist philosophy. What are the benefits of good verbal conduct and what are the negative impacts of not having a good verbal conduct?
With respect to Venerable Mahasangha, Mr. Karagala and dear devotees, we talked about false speech and the need to abstain from different types of speeches to have right speech. But when we are doing something, we need to know the benefits it will bring us, as well as the negative impacts we will get for not doing it. So let's look at the benefits of right speech and the dangers of not having the right speech. Dear devotees, in the Vachi Duscharita Sutta, the Lord Buddha has preached Panchime Bhikkave Adinama Vachi Duccharite Katame Pancha Attapi Attanang Upavadati Anuvicca Vinyu Garahanti Papako Kitti Saddo Abbuggacchati Sammulho Kalang Karoti Kayas Beda Parammarana Apayan Duggating Vinipatang Nirayang Upapajjati. Lord Buddha preached because there are these 5 dangers in verbal misconduct. What are they? The first one is that he will have great regret and blame himself in the future for not abstaining from bad speech. The next one is, after wise or noble people find you that he doesn't have right speech, he will be isolated, looked down upon, or even hated. The third one is, they will get bad titles like liar, or the one with the foul mouth, or the one who always gossip. In this manner, he will have a bad reputation. The fourth one is that they will die confused and with regret. Lastly, with the breakup of the body after death, one is reborn in one of the planes of misery, in a bad destination, in the lower world or in other worlds in hell. So these are the 5 dangers in not having right speech. Dear devotees, in the same sutta, the Lord Buddha preached again, Panchime Bhikkave Anisansa Vachi Sucharite Attapi Attanang Na Upavadati Anuvicca Vinyo Pasansanti Kalyano Kitti Saddo Abbuggacchati Asammulho Kalang Karoti Kayasa Beda Parammarana Sugating Lokang Upapajjati. Because there are 5 benefits in good verbal conduct, preached Lord Buddha. Having right speech, the first one is that they will not blame themselves or have regrets about their speech. Second one is, when wise or noble people find that they have right speech, they will be praised and even admired. The third one is that they will receive good titles and reputations. For example, people will know you as someone who is trustworthy or someone who only speaks about important things. The next one is, he will die without any regret and unconfused. Lastly, after death, they will be reborn in a good destination, in a heavenly world. So, dear devotees, these are the 5 benefits in good verbal conduct. We know that we know what will happen to us if we have right speech or good verbal conduct, and what some of the things that will happen to us if we do not have it. So I finally invite all of you to develop right speech and abstain from types of speeches that generate demerits.
As corporate executives, it is very important to manage our verbal conduct, but as human beings, we always react to the environment, react to what we hear and what we see. So when you work with your teams, you may come across the situations which stress you out or irritates you, and you may hear things which you would not like to hear. Because of those kind of things, sometimes you may lose your patience and you will get tempted to speak back. If you react without a proper verbal conduct, you will definitely speak out in an unprofessional manner, and most probably that will bring yourself down. That will ruin your corporate career, and that will tarnish your name as a corporate leader. Venerable Kalanadasana Thero, sir, how Buddhist philosophy guide us to have a proper control in our speech?
Mr. Karagala, there are many examples for what can happen to you if you do not control your speech. One example is the story of Putimukha Petavattu, which can be found in the Kuddaka Nikaya Petavattu. Dear devotees, in the time of Kashyapa Buddha, 2 young men joined the order of Sangha and lived very virtuously. One day, a monk who always gossips around came to where these 2 stayed. The 2 young monks prepared a room for him to stay and talked for a little while. Then these 3 decided to go Pindapata, arms round, together. The lay people were very happy about their well-mannered walk and offered many requisites. After coming back, the new monk, who had a foul mouth, thought, "The people here are very faithful and very rich. They also give a lot of requisites, so I should stay here for a long time." Thinking in this manner, he stayed there in that monastery. But after a few days, another unwholesome thought came to his mind. He thought, because of these 2 monks, I need to do everything they say, because they are older than me. And all the requisites that people bring are shared between 3 of us. If I can get rid of these 2, then all of these will belong to me. Thinking that, one day after sermons, instead of going back to his room as usual, he stayed little bit longer. And after the younger one of the 2 monks had left, he said to the elder one, "Bhante, the other monk is not a good person. He tells me about your good qualities when you are here, but tells me about your bad deeds when you are not here." Dear devotees, Even though the foul-mouthed monk said this, the elder monk did not believe him, no matter what he said. But foul-mouthed monk continued to tell the same. After a while, the elder monk also started to suspect the younger one, thinking he is still someone who hasn't attained enlightenment. So it is possible that he could have done this. In this way, he slowly started to lose his trust about the younger one. In the same manner, the foul-mouthed monk went and said the bad things about the elder monk to the younger one. He too slowly lost his trust on the elder monk. The next morning, before they left for Pindapata, unlike before, they did not talk to each other or even look at each other. So after returning, they had their meal and left the monastery because they couldn't stay as there was a mistrust between them. Since what the greedy monk wanted happened, he was very happy, but he didn't stop there. The next morning, when he went for Pindapata, the devotees saw that the other two were missing and asked for the reason. Then the greedy monk said, "Those two always fight with each other at night, shouting and using harsh words. I tried to give them advices, but they did not listen. Finally, they could no longer listen to my advice, so both of them left." In this manner, he broke the faith that the devotees had about the two monks. In this manner, he enjoyed all the offerings from the faithful lay people. But after some time, he started to regret about the thing he had done and eventually died because of his regret. Dear devotees, after death, he was reborn in the Avicii, the hell, the worst hell. After many eons, at the time of Gautama Buddha, he was reborn as a preta or a ghost near the city Rajagaha. One day when Venerable Narada Thero was descending mountain Gijjakuta, he saw this ghost. Dear devotees, it is said that the ghost's body was of the color gold, but his mouth was filled by worms. And those worms ate his mouth as food. Not only that, but the horrible smell that came from his mouth spread for many miles as well. Seeing this, the Thero asked why he had to suffer so much. Then the preta said, "This is the cause of not controlling his speech and breaking the trust between the two monks and also the faithful followers." Dear devotees, so finally I want to say, if you do not control your speech, you too might regret things you have done in your deathbed, and you too might have to suffer for many eons. So I invite all of you to control your speech so that you can live happily and peacefully in both your mundane and spiritual life.
So one of the important things that we need to understand, once a word goes out from you, from your mouth, it is not possible to take it back. Hence, we have to make sure that we choose and control the word we speak very carefully, as they have the ability to develop or destroy your team if you are a leader. And remember that your team is the reflection of your leadership. you are as good as or bad as your team. So I just spoke about the team and the leadership. So as a leader, one of the most common thing in your daily agenda is having meetings with your team to discuss your strategy or the giving a direction to them. In those meetings, if you talk without a clarity, and if you speak everything relevant and not relevant to the particular topic which you have called the meeting for, people will start losing the focus. And on the other hand, your team will get too much of information and they will get confused in selecting the right information. At the end, as a leader, you will lose the credibility and people will start not listening to you, which will have a negative impact on you and on the organization. Whenever, so how Buddhism is highlighting the importance of not speaking useless and not relevant words.
Mr. Karagala and dear devotees, no matter in what age you are, knowing what to discuss about is very important. But most of us don't know what and what not to talk about. So how do we speak only useful things? According to Buddhism, Lord Buddha has clearly shown us what kind of things we should and we should not talk about. Dear devotees, in the Anguttara Nikaya, Katha Vattu Sutta, Lord Buddha has taught us what we should not talk about. Now let's look at those one by one. Raja Katang, talk about kings. Chora Katang, about thieves. Mahamatta Katang, about ministers of state. Sena Katang, armies. Baya Katang, perils. Yuddha Katang, wars. Anna Katang, talk about food. Pana Katang, talk about drinks. Vatta Katang, about garments and clothes. Sayana Katang, beds. Mala Katang, garlands. Gandha Katang, about the scents. Jnati Katang, about the relatives. Yana Katang, vehicles. Gama Katang, talk about villages. Nigama Katang, about towns. Nagara Katang, about cities. Janapada Katang, about countries. Itti Katang, about women. Sura Katang, about heroic deeds. Visikha Katang, street talks. Kumbhattana Katang, talk by the well. Pubbapeta Katang, about the departed ones. Nanatta Katang, miscellaneous talks. Lokakkayikang, speculations about the world. Samuddakayikang, speculation about the sea. Iti bhava bhava Katang, about becoming this or that. So, dear devotees, these are the types of talks that monks were advised not to do. And as someone hoping to achieve enlightenment, you should also try to limit yourself in these talks as well. Although as a lay person, it might be difficult to do as some of these topics are essential in your day-to-day life. But still, as long as you decrease the amount you talk about these and talk about important things like how to improve your business or talk about the Dhamma, then those talks will help you become successful in both your mundane and supramundane life.
So, Venerable Kalyana Therosa, you explain about the words we should not speak and the implications of speaking such words. According to Buddhism, in the religion, is there any mentioning of about the words and the things we should talk about?
Mr. Karagala, in the same sutta, that it is also mentioned about the things we should talk as well. Lord Buddha preached Dasa imani bhikkave kata vattuni katamani dasa. Appicca kata, santutti kata, paviveka kata, asansagga kata, viriyaramba kata, sila kata, samadhi kata, panya kata, vimukti kata, vimukti jnana dassana kata. Bhikkhu, there are 10 topics suitable for discussion, preach Lord Buddha. So these 10 topics are Appicca kata, talk on fewness of desires. Santutti kata, on contentment. Paviveka kata, on solitude. Asansagga kata, on not being bound up with others. Viriyaramba kata, on arousing energy. Sila kata, on virtuous behavior. Samadhi kata, on concentration. Panya kata, on wisdom. Vimukti kata, on liberation. Vimutti jnana dassana kata, on knowledge and vision of liberation. Dear devotees, according to Lord Buddha, these are the 10 topics suitable for discussion. Although this was mainly preached for monks, lay people can use this as well, so that they know what discussion topics are useful. Because when they only talk about things that generate merits, their speech will automatically become wholesome.
So you should filter and practice your speeches and should communicate the information necessary to the audience. That is a very important skill. If you want to become an effective leader, you should build. That definitely will save everybody's time, speed up the decision making, and increase your credibility. I would still like to be on this topic about words, because in general management we call these as communication. The communication skill is one of the most important skills we need to have in managing an organization. As leaders, some of us believe that we have the right to speak in any way we need, even harshly to our team members. Most of us start shouting at people when we see a mistake. We do that either due to lack of patience, lack of maturity, or sometimes even as an attempt to show our power. Venerable Kalanadasana Thero sir, is Buddhism talks about the negative impact of speaking harsh words.
Mr. Karagala, if something hurts the feelings of the listener, then those words can be grouped as harsh words. But just as in lying, there are 3 factors that need to be fulfilled in order for something to be a harsh word. What are these 3? Dear devotees, the first one is that there needs to be a person being insulted. No matter what we say, if there is no one to be insulted or hurt, then it won't become a harsh word. The next one is having the intention of ill will towards that person. Just because what we say hurts someone, it doesn't necessarily become a harsh word. For example, we could be saying something in a different language, but they misunderstand the meaning and are offended. Since we did not have the intention to cause harm to them or to hurt them, then it doesn't count as a harsh word either. The last one is the uttered words needs to hurt the listener. Even if we say something harsh with the intention to harm others or hurt them, if they are not offended, insulted or hurt, then it doesn't become a harsh word either. Think someone says something very harsh and rude in a foreign language that I don't know. Since I didn't understand what he said, it doesn't become a harsh word either. Dear devotees, all three factors need to be fulfilled in order for something we say to be concerned, a harsh word or an insult to someone. As we know, insulting someone is also considered as being harsh. But what exactly are the things considered as insults to someone else? It is preached in the Pachitya Pali, in the Code of Discipline, the 10 methods of insulting that we should refrain from. Insulting regarding birth, regarding name, regarding tribe or clan, insulting regarding activity, insulting regarding craft, regarding disability, regarding appearance, regarding defilements, insulting regarding offenses, and lastly, insulting by insults. It is preached that these are 10 methods that can be used to insult someone, and these are the things we should avoid saying. Dear devotees, there are many words in the world used to hurt and insult others. Words such as pig, dog, and drunkard hurt the feelings of others. Referring to people as greedy, miser, tiger, devil, and bull is insulting regarding defilements. Mr. Karagala, these are some of the types of harsh insults that we need to avoid using, so that other people won't be hurt because of us. This will create a friendly community and in turn bring success not only to you but also to the entire society.
So, if you are a leader, you may think, how can I be quiet when I see a mistake of my team or one of my team members? Yes, you should not keep yourself quiet. But if you need to point out a mistake and advise your team, please don't shout at them in public. Talk to them personally and advise them rationally. I repeat, you have to talk to them personally and you have to advise them rationally. Advising the team rationally with a proper reasoning and a direction has a drastic difference between just shouting at them with harsh word without giving a direction. As leaders, we are not there just to shout at people. We are there to give them a direction and help them out to correct their mistakes and develop them so the organization develops. On the other hand, harsh word and shouting drives the fear, which distract the team, while the rational advice and logical reasoning build the trust and develop the team. So the second method will create a better team and a happier team and a more productive and effective team and an organization. So today we are coming to an end of our session, and with Malasekara Foundation, Jaya TV is conducting this session to discuss about how practical the Buddhism is and how practically the Buddhist teaching we can use in our daily life as leaders, as individuals, as simple human beings. And as always, with greatest gratitude, I thank Venerable Sri Lanka Kalanadasana Thero for being with us and sharing the wealth of noble knowledge with us and with all of you. And blessings to you all. Theruvan Saranam.